Well, let's kickstart the show then and talk a little bit more about the facelift that Goa is going to have. Sea hubs, which are going to be co-working spaces along the beach, a digital nomad visa and lots more. Joining in right now, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Rohan Khaunte, who is the Minister of Tourism, IT and Printing and Stationery, Govt of Goa. Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out. Let's discuss how Goa is really looking at this massive facelift, enhancing electronic accommodation infrastructure to really draw in tech investments.
Goa has been always known as a preferred tourism destination, and as we ambitiously look at making it a tourism capital of the country, it's very important for us to look at different verticals which can contribute to the economics and the employment of the state. I think keeping that in mind and the Prime Minister's thought process on trade, tourism, technology, keeping in mind the double engine that we are for the BJP in the state and BJP in the center, it's very important for us to encash on the right thoughts and futuristic ideas. Today, we are talking about electronics in Goa. We are talking about tech investments in Goa, keeping in mind the natural resources that we have and what best we can do within the available talent and capacity building that we can do in creating employment and also generating new verticals for economics for the state. In terms of accommodation, we have already started working on these lines. We have a vibrant ecosystem. Ease of doing business has made a lot of investments come in into Goa, where people with online module with minimum documentation are able to register their guest houses, hotels, and various accommodations which can support the system, whether tourism or technology. In terms of electronics, we definitely are looking at a new vertical coming in the state. The whole idea of work-ation, hashtag work-ation Goa, has caught up so broadly that people are looking for opportunities to come and work from Goa. We need to create these opportunities. And as we create these opportunities, it's important that we have the ecosystem in the right place. That's what we are doing right now. So talking about electronics, talking about IT, talking about Industry 4.0, talking about the creative space that Goa can create. And very importantly, within this aspect, keeping the creative space that we have, we are focused on the design village. We are focused on various new aspects which can be a new ecosystem for the state. Homestays, caravan tourism will be new supporting accommodation things which will help me curate a new thought for the new Goa Tourism 2.0 and Tech 2.0.
Well, that sounds very exciting. So, Mr. Khaunte, what kind of tech investments really do you foresee for Goa? How important do you think it is?
When we talk about Goa, we need to ensure that we have a sustainable path of development without over-exploiting, ensuring that we keep our ethos right. We need to work on a very sustainable model, for which when we talk about tech investments, we talk about creating new technology hubs. So it might be a design village, it might be a new ideas which I've just shared with you, which need to come into the ecosystem. Digital nomads is one area which we look very strongly, keeping in mind the Industry 4.0. So whether it's AR, VR, 3D, ML, where everything which is futuristic, AI, which can be augmented with the thought of Goa, is something which we are looking for. We are looking for the niche segments which can find space. For example, when you're looking for a creativity, by default, Goa becomes the space. You have the right resources, quality of life, the English-speaking literary people. And since you have a high literacy level, it's easy to communicate for the people who come here. Hospitality at its best with Atithi Devo Bhava. So we have all the ingredients which are required to stitch the thought process and the vision that we are carrying ahead. All we need to do is meet that bridge, whether people need to understand what Goa is. Goa has always been a tourism destination, and now we look at tech investments. So in terms of tech investments, whether it's electronics, whether it's technology-related Industry 4.0, this is something which we are looking for. I've always been harping on the Estonian model, which takes exactly in the shape of what Goa is, a small populace, niche segments, and that's what we can work on. We are, as a state, we are in a process of collaborative, competitive, and cooperative form of federalism. So if Telangana and if Bangalore are working on different thought processes, for Goa, I think we can pick up this space. Work-ation Goa has been a very big thought for us to create opportunities out of adversity post-COVID. And Work-ation Goa allows somebody that work from Goa culture, which work from home culture, which has come in corporates, allows people to start thinking, why not Goa? We have been having a lot of digital nomads already coming in, which are domestic in nature, coming here, spending a lot of time in the creative space. Why I'm harping on the creativity is because we were ambitiously looking at making Goa as we take tech investments to make it a creative capital of the country.
Now, I'm sure that this is really going to work with a lot of people, given that we've had the pandemic, which really made work from home or work from anywhere very accessible. And I understand that Goa plans to have these sea hubs. They're going to be co-working spaces established along the beach. How convenient is that? Tell us more.
Let us talk about innovation. So when we talk about industries and innovation, it's a connect that we need to do, and they need to collaborate for finding any success. And any state needs to find this thought process. We need to come with this out of the box thinking. So when we are talking about the digital nomads fraternity, this fraternity, I think, has crossed all borders. Roughly about 46 countries are today hosting digital nomads. The guys who have a high per capita spend, income is high, and they also allow you to be a part of that, helping in the capacity building in the talent pool. Every country or every state would welcome them with open hands. So when we're looking at digital nomads to come in, we need a long-term accommodation also to be looked upon. We need to look at rural Goa, rural tourism, and that's how we have been looking at a homestay. So when we talk about digital nomads, we talk about the homestays which are coming in. We are trying to curate a whole thought with a new economic, because rural Goa is very beautiful, and people who are coming for a long haul, especially in the line of digital nomads, they will stay there. Now, in terms of infrastructure, when a digital nomad comes, what does he look for? He looks for connectivity, and he looks for a co-working space, a space where he can come and spend time. The sea hubs are planned right on the beach. We're coming up with sea hubs in the next 2 months, a couple of them to start with. This will be right on the beach, which will give a person a very nice space to talk about Goa, a place where it is sun, sand, sea, and now it's going to be software.
But of course, a critical aspect, Mr. Khaunte, of all of this is going to be the provision for high-speed internet connectivity, particularly in the rural areas, to actually support this. So is this currently underway?
From 2009, I think Goa was the first state to come under the SWAN network. So in terms of connecting to the last mile, we are already connected through the SWAN network under GBBN 1.0. Now, when we are upscaling ourselves through BharatNet 3.0 or our own fiber, the whole idea is to get Har Ghar fiber. So one initiative in getting connectivity right is, as we believe that internet has become quite a fundamental right, like providing basic amenities like water, electricity. I think internet to every house also is a must. Now, normally every operator who comes in tries to exploit the commercial areas, the towns, the cities. The rural area is something which always remains backward. And that is what we saw during COVID times, where the biggest affected areas in terms of the state of Goa were the rural part of Goa, where internet was a problem, and for which equality of education, the outreach from education point of view, a lot of other things were, from terms of communication and technology, were stuck. Today, along with our Chief Minister, we are first working on the aspect of Har Ghar fiber, so that we are able to reach every household with the thought of giving internet to all.
Right, and in light of that, what are the steps being taken for 100% internet connectivity in the next few years?
With BharatNet 3.0, which is coming in from the center, we are only studying the model, whether the center model will be something which we are able to work on. So we have been talking to them, and we are trying to find a way out. I think what we have been talking about connectivity is what I've just shared with you in my last thought. The way to connect ahead also I've shared with you. The intent to connect also is there.
And there's also the digital nomad visa. Tell us about what exactly the status of this visa means.
We have to understand how the thing runs, how the whole digital nomad fraternity runs. The digital nomad fraternity is a very independent fraternity. It is not something that I work for an industry and I'm a digital nomad. I may be working for an industry, but there are many people in the creative space who are known as digital nomads, who keep visiting places because they want creativity all around them. They want nature at its best all around them, and they need to ensure that they're having everything what would allow them to work in that particular environment. Keeping in mind hashtag work-ation Goa, digital nomads are something which, as I said earlier, locally from the country, we have many people coming here, staying, taking a second home or renting out places and staying for a long haul. The problem is when we talk about a person coming from another country, an international person, international digital nomad coming down, the challenge is the visa. The normal work permit or the tourist permit, which may be for 3 months or 5 months, allows the person who is working for a company to come down. An independent, standalone digital nomad who may be having a very high earning. For those people, it becomes a problem. Countries have started giving digital nomad visa from 1 year to up to 3 years, depending on the country that it is. So today we have to start understanding how we are progressing ahead. Digital nomad will not only have progression for Goa or its economics for Goa, but it will be having for the whole country. So we have to understand the potential of a digital nomad, which will not have its limitation only to the state of Goa, but it might be every state where they would want to go, spend a little time of the and understand that the creative space is there and work from there.
What a pleasure it is having you on board. Thank you so much for joining in and giving us those views on the transformation of Goa. Certainly look forward to my next holiday there, which is going to be mixed with work.